Undisputed as we celebrate Memorial Day with you. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great, Jenny. I'm enjoying this Memorial Day weekend, and to all the servicemen and women out there that gave their life for this country, thank you. And to all the current men and women that's still supporting this country and fighting for this country, I say from the bottom of my heart, thank you again.
I echo the remarks of my partner, Shannon Sharp, and I would like to add that, ho-hum, Tom Brady makes another miracle on another Sunday afternoon. Who knew?
Yeah. Didn't it remind you of something like in Philly? He had a great game, but old Nick Foles did showed him up, the old Philly special.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I figured we would go there, and we have a packed show today, so much to get to, but I figured we would begin by discussing Dak Prescott and his future with the Cowboys, because a recent study of quarterback salaries has shown that if you want to reach a Super Bowl, you shouldn't devote more than 14.3% of your salary cap percentage to your quarterback. That would mean the Cowboys couldn't pay Dak Prescott more than $31 million a year. Shannon, I feel like you're going to be fired up about this. Is there any validity to it?
Absolutely not. Jenny, you know, the thing is that the Cowboys could have had this done a long time ago. So let me ask you a question for this article. So when Dak in 2016 made 0.4%, and 0.4 in 2017, and 0.4 in 2018, and 1.1 last year, where was that? So he was vastly under 14%. And what did it get him? Where's the Super Bowl ring, Skip? Where's the Lombardi? Now, I see one in my background over there, Skip. Where was the Super Bowl trophy? Because, see, now Dak says, okay, I'm only supposed to make up a little over 14% of the cap. So what happens if I give you guys a discount? We don't make the Super Bowl. So let me ask you a question, Jerry. In the next contract, are you going to repay that money that I lost? Because I've given you a substantial discount over the last 4 years, and we haven't won a Super Bowl. No, but where's this article mentioned, Skip, that you know what, the quarterback should always get at least 5% of the money? No, you signed a contract. You know, he was paid according to the way he was drafted. Now he's a franchise quarterback. Now he's 27 and free. Now you want to cap the amount of money that I can make, while you suppressed on the front end the amount of money I can make. Skip, this is so utterly ridiculous. A 27-year-old franchise quarterback, Skip, is always going to get the lion's share of the money. You and I both know, Skip, no matter what you think about it, Jared Goff makes more money than Aaron Donald. Jared Goff isn't half the player of Aaron Donald. He just plays a position that is deemed more valuable than Aaron Donald. So based on that, and his age and what he's been able to accomplish, he makes the lion's share of the money on the team. That's just the way it works. Now, this article also mentioned that 80% of the 2021 cap is already spoken for. How the hell is that Dak's problem? Because Jerry and Stephen Jones, Skip, I give you money, you go out there and blow it and say, well, Shadow, I'm out of money. That's not Dak's problem. You should have thought about that. You paid everybody else. You made sure everyone else has gotten market value. Now it comes time for Dak. You could only make 14%. That's not Dak's fault. You should have thought about that. And this is what happens, Skip, when you get a guy. What normally happens is that you get a guy on his rookie contract and you cash in. Skip, remember that's what Seattle did. Seattle not only had Russell on his rookie contract, they had Richard Sherman, they had Bobby Wagner. They had a lot of their core guys on rookie contract. They go to win a Super Bowl. Now, this thing could have really played off had they not done that bonehead play. But getting to winning one and getting to another, Skip, it looks like, okay, that was a pretty good deal. Because you know that balloon payment's going to come due, Skip. You know a franchise quarterback, 26, 27, Pat Mahomes is going to come due. Now, the thing that the Kansas City have working in their favor, they've already won one. So this is going to be a great thing. So he's going to get his money. But, Skip, I put nothing in this. This is not Dak Prescott's fault. This is not Dak Prescott's responsibility to manage the Cowboys cap after they allotted 80% of next year's cap to guys, and Dak still hasn't gotten paid. This is bull jive.
So my first question to you, Mr. Sharp, is you and everybody else keep saying, and it was the first words out of your mouth, this should have been done a long time ago. So explain to me how a year and a half ago, Jerry Jones should have caved in and said, you want $40 million a year? I'll give you $40 million a year. Help me out. Please explain, why should he have done that a year and a half ago when they were asking for out-of-bounds, outrageous money, and they still are?
But here's the thing, though, Skip, is that what you have to factor in with Dak is Dak does not have a first round salary. So in other words, he doesn't get that fifth-year option. So Skip, in order for him to give that up, you're going to have to compensate him. You're going to have to come to him and give him a deal that he can't refuse. And even then, it might be overpriced, Skip. You might say, he's not worth that. But you have to be willing to give that up. Because if you let him get to the end of that contract, Skip, this is the dilemma that you're going to run into.
Okay, now back to your big picture point. This is exactly what Stephen Jones keeps talking about publicly. And you keep saying, oh, they're just trying to negotiate publicly. They're going to try to back Dak into a public corner. Baloney! He's just stating facts. He is warning his customers, his fans, Cowboy Nation, that if we do cave in and give Dak as much as he is asking for, the history of this screams we will not be able to win big carrying that chunk of money under our salary cap. So let's go back to this study by ESPN. So it says that 11 of the 60 quarterbacks who started a playoff game over the last 5 years have made more than 14% of their team's salary cap. And yet only one of those 11, only one, even made it to a Super Bowl, and that was Matt Ryan. And of course, he blew a Super Bowl to Tom Brady and company. So not one player on that list, 11 out of 60, over 14% of the cap, has won a Super Bowl. Well, that's just horrifying to me, because if we look at Dak right now, he would make 14.3% of the cap if he just accepts the franchise tag. That's $31.4 million, and that would be 14.3% of the cap. But Dak doesn't want the franchise tag. And let's go now to what is on the table for Dak. He could snap his fingers today and have, they're guesstimating, if I go by the reports, 35 or 36 million a year. Somewhere in there is sitting on the table for Dak Prescott right now. Well, guess what, Shannon Sharp? If we look at this table, quarterbacks who made the playoffs over the last 5 years, that would jettison, that would rocket Dak Prescott all the way to the top of the list. That would be beyond what Andrew Luck made in 2018, which was 18.5% of the Indianapolis Colts salary cap. That would make Dak go beyond that. He would be at the very top of this list, and that's just if he took the money Jerry has already offered. Now, let's get to what I believe he is demanding, which is 40+ million a year. Guess what, Shannon Sharp? That would rocket him beyond Andrew Luck into the 20% category. 20%, that's outrageous. That's so much, that's such a huge chunk of your cap that, as they call Dallas, Texas, Big D, you know what it would stand for at that point, Shannon Sharp? Big done. We would have no chance if Dak Prescott was making 40+ million and over 20% of the cap to have any shot at this. And now for the killer. You keep saying that Dak and his new agent, Todd France, have to keep ahead of the advancing salary cap, the increasing salary cap. Well, guess what? With this pandemic, there's a huge chance the cap is going to decrease in 2021. Adam Schefter has already reported that there's speculation that it could decrease by as much as 70 to 80 million. And this survey that Jenny just referred to, bottom line of the survey is, if there's a big decrease in the salary cap, that would move a massive Prescott extension from problematic to disastrous. Cap goes down, Dak's up over $40 million. You can't win because you can't support him. You can't give him the supporting cast that right now has some people projecting Dak Prescott to be the MVP of this league. It's because of who's around him. I love Dak Prescott. I think he's the 10th best quarterback in the league. I do not think he's better than Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson or even Lamar Jackson after one big year that was an MVP year. I do not. I love him, but I can't abide you saying, pay the man. Because as Stephen Jones said, he told Pro Football Talk a couple of weeks ago, he says, I know at the end of the day, everybody's out there saying, how have you not paid Dak? And he goes on to say, this is not something where Jerry and myself are trying to save money so the Cowboys can make more money for the Jones family. This, says Stephen, is about a hard and fast salary cap that every owner has exactly the same amount of. And Stephen's final point is, there's all sorts of analytics out there that show you if your quarterback takes up too big a percentage of your salary cap, that it decreases your chances to win. Bingo! That's it. It's as simple as that. They have offered an extremely fair market value contract for a very good young quarterback, the face of the franchise. But if he wants 40, we can't win with 40. Then Dak wins, we lose. I'm sorry, these numbers scream